Hi, friends! We are going to read this story, Harold and the Purple Crayon. Are you ready? All right, friends, so we are going to read the story of Harold and the Purple Crayon. This is Harold. He's a young boy who uses a purple crayon to draw adventures. But what happens when Harold wants to get back home? Will he find his way back? Let's read and find out what happens. All right. So this is Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. Now, since there's only one name, the chances are he wrote the words and drew the pictures. This book has been around a long time. As you can see, this is the 60th anniversary. And there's the title page. Again. One evening, after thinking it over for a time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. Being that it's bedtime, I think he must not be very sleepy. There wasn't any moon. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. He made a straight path so he wouldn't get lost. He set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. He didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long straight path, so he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree on it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. What does the word frightening mean? Yes, scary. So scary dragon. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon shook. Suddenly, he realized what was happening, but by then Harold was over his head in an ocean. His hand was shaking and it had created the ocean. Oh no, where's his head? He came up thinking fast. In no time, he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. What does the word ashore mean? Ashore. Yeah, that means you step off from the land onto the water. So he stepped ashore. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and he thought of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie, but there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. I wonder what he's going to do with all the pie. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish up. What does deserving mean? Yeah, that means you earn something for good behavior. And y'all know what a porcupine is. It's an animal that has quills or sharp things that stick out of his back. This little guy right here is a porcupine. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see. So he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought he could see the window of his bedroom. You know, I think he's looking for his bedroom because I think he's like ready to go home and maybe a little tired. He was tired and felt he ought to be getting to bed. I guess I was right. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. Do you think he saw it? See? But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped. Oh no. And there was nothing on the other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. Oh no, Harold. But luckily, he kept his wits about him and his purple crayon. What is wits? Yeah, your smart thoughts. So he kept his smart thoughts and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. He made a basket under the balloon, big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of his windows was his window. None of the windows were his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. Is he lost? He made some more windows. He made a big building full of windows. Oh my, that's a lot of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. Oh my. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. And he's getting really tired. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. He walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then suddenly, Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed He got in it and drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped on the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep. I think at the end of the story, when Harold dropped his crayon, he must have fallen right to sleep. He was probably pretty tired after all those adventures. What do you think? So I have a couple more questions for you. When he gets hungry on his picnic, he draws 9 pies. Why do you think he drew so many pies? What flavor do you think the pies were? Yummy. When Harold fell off the mountain, he drew a balloon to catch himself. What else could Harold have drawn to protect himself from falling through the air? Cool. I wonder how Harold felt when he couldn't find his window. Yeah, I guess. You know, after Harold draws a big dragon to protect the apple tree, he gets a little scared, doesn't he? What does Harold do when he gets scared? Yeah, he was shaking, wasn't he? His hand was shaking. What do you do when you get scared? You shake too? You know, it's okay to be scared. It's a emotion that everybody feels at some time. And I have a video, keeping kids safe, what to do when you feel scared. So check that video out. I hope you enjoyed this story of Harold and the Purple Crayon. It is a classic, as it is 60 years old, 60 plus years old. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos so that more people can learn about our channel and subscribe. As always, I appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you so much. See you next time.